in Seattle. It's a sold-out crowd here for All-Star Saturday. And so far, there has not been a repeat slam dunk champion yet. We know there won't be one this year because last year's champion, Spud Webb, is injured and not competing. We've also learned that Dominique Wilkins won't be in the competition because of his sore back. And that's been iffy all the way up until really just a little while before our live telecast here. But Dominique will not be in the competition today.
And that's really too bad because I still think that he's the greatest dunker I've ever seen. And Dominique had that bad back. He got 54 in the game with a bad back, but it's too bad he's not here. But Kersey, his replacement, is my dark horse.
That's the dark horse. I'll tell you who I like in this one, and that's the 6'2" Johnny Dawkins, who led Duke into the Final Four last year and is having himself an excellent rookie season with San Antonio. I saw him play ACC basketball, and Johnny Dawkins has some great moves. Tom Chambers says he was one of the most nervous dunkers out here. Tom Chambers is the 6'10" tallest player out here, and he's never been in a dunking contest before, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Now, we talked about Spud Webb, who was not here this year because of the injury, but he was the champion last year, and Spud Webb really electrified the crowd in Dallas.
Well, yes, he certainly did. He's got that great vertical leap, and being a small man, it just seems as if he's jumping even higher. He made one toss when he threw the ball up and it bounced on the ground. He jumped up, caught it, dunked it over his head. That was probably the most amazing dunk that I have ever seen. He had everything going for him that day. It was truly a remarkable performance on the part of Spud Webb, and I was really glad that I had to have an opportunity to be here and watch it in person, watch it live. And, of course, today everybody has a chance to watch these players live. Michael Jordan, I'm telling you now, he said that he has done some choreograph work. I guess that's the right way to say it. And he said every one of his dunks, I said, did you name them? He said, I've named them. Every one of them is the $12,500 dunk.
The $12,500 dunk is one of the nicest names. That's better than the devastating dunk of Darryl Dawkins. Speaking of the dunk, everybody argues about it, no matter how long you've been a basketball fan. Who originated it? Some people think Johnny Green. Some people say Julius Erving, Artis Gilmore. It goes way back. Let's take a look at what is the real story behind the history of the dunk. The dunk, from its origin, has been shrouded in controversy. Who was the first NBA player to dunk? Experts disagree. Some next. Now, there's a total of 50 points available to each one of these competitors. And there is Freddie Brown. He was a real favorite here in Seattle. Sonics captain for 8 years. Of course, you know his nickname, Downtown Freddie Brown. He's now a sports commentator for a local television station. And there's Johnny Green. Some people, as we said, think that Johnny Green, who played his college basketball at Michigan State and then, of course, with the New York Knicks, may have originated today's modern dunk.
Jumpin' Johnny, they call him. And, of course, Sam Jones, who now plays more tennis than basketball.
And my guess is he plays pretty well because he looks as though he's still in very good shape. These are the judges for today's slam dunk. And there is Marv Harshman, a college coach for 40 years. Former coach at the University of Washington, led the United States to a gold medal in the Pan American Games, inducted into the University of Washington Hall of Fame. He's retired now. And there is the man representing all the fans, Joe Piscopo. I saw him on his commercial where he's playing the role of a coach, so maybe that'll help him with his judgments here today.
Well, that's true. Joe, a big sports fan, and he said he's really looking forward to it. I saw him in the locker room, and he's real excited about the opportunity to do this, and he's going to be a part of the show later on tonight.
Just remember, he's only going to tell you one time. Remember his line from Johnny Dangerously? Joe Piscopo, one of our 5 judges. So here's how this will happen, basically. We'll talk about the rules in just a moment, but one of the ways that this, as terms of the order of the competition here, there are 3 rounds. The first round with all 8, then the semifinals and the finals. Now, there was a drawing yesterday as you look at the competitors here, and I'm going to give you these names in a little different order than you see them on the screen. They will start with Michael Jordan, followed by Drexler, Dawkins, Stansbury, Harper, Chambers, Wilkins, and Kersey. That'll be the order of the dunking competition. There are 2 dunks in the first round, and before we get into that first round, let's go now to Gary Spinell, our public address announcer, and he is going to introduce today's competitors for the Slam Dunk Championship.
Making his first appearance in the Gatorade Slam Dunk Championship, this fine forward is one of 3 20-point scorers who have helped make his team one of the surprise successes in the NBA this year. From the host, Seattle Supersonics, at 6'10", let's welcome Tom Chambers. The shortest competitor in this year's slam dunk event, this rookie guard led Duke to the NCAA Finals last year and is being counted upon by the San Antonio Spurs to bolster their backcourt for many years to come. At 6'2", Johnny Dawkins. One of the founding members of Phi Slamma Jamma, the University of Houston's fraternity of dunk. This versatile athlete now dunks to the delight of fans of the Portland Trailblazers. Nicknamed Clyde the Glide for his smooth style, 6'7", Clyde Drexler. The second rookie in this event, this man leads all first-year players in scoring and heads a 5-man rookie contingent that helped revitalize the Cleveland Cavaliers. An exciting open court player at 6'6". Say hello to Ron Harper. A finalist 2 years ago, this Chicago Bulls star missed last year's slam dunk competition, as well as most of the season because of a broken foot. Well, he's healthy again and leading the NBA in scoring. One of the game's most exciting athletes at 6'6". Here's Michael Jordan. Replacing injured Dominique Wilkins, this third-year forward is one of the league's best power slammers. From the Portland Trailblazers, 6'7", Jerome Kersey. This 6'5" guard was the surprise smash of the 1985 Gatorade Slam Dunk Championship, finishing third, a feat he repeated last year. He's an acrobatic and creative dunker representing the all-star host Seattle Supersonics. Here is Terrence Stansbury. One of the bright young stars of the New York Knicks, this second-year pro used to be known as Dominique's younger brother, but he has rapidly established an identity of his own, standing 6'6". Here is Gerald Wilkins. Unable to compete, but here today, the 1986 Gatorade Slam Dunk champion. Let's have a nice hand for Spud Webb.
All right, Spud Webb being introduced. He's in the stands today. He's way up in the stand, sitting in the cheap seats. I thought he could have gotten a better ticket.
Well, not too bad. He's behind us to the right.
All right, Dominique Wilkins also here. He was 2 years ago champion. Let's take a look at the guidelines and rules for the Slam Dunk Championships. 2 dunks in the first round, 3 dunks in the semifinals and the finals. And in order to encourage creativity, the competitors may replace up to 2 dunks per round.
Here is the order of competition.
You get 0 to 10 points. There are 5 judges, meaning that 50 would be perfect, of course. Maximum score 50 per dunk with the 5 judges. And the competitors are judged for style, athletic ability, and creativity. And when they had the judges meeting prior to today's competition, the basic rules that were handed down by the NBA to these judges were to simply feel it, what looks right and what's most exciting. It's a little bit like judging ice skating or gymnastics in some cases, with the exception that you're not really looking for a specific program that's designed. And here is the first competitor, Michael Jordan, who unfortunately couldn't be here last year because of injuries.
And he was talking, you may have seen him with Dominique Wilkins, who wished him good luck.
Oh, just like his commercials.
Well, he goes with a little cup job. I thought he might go with the one hand, and then he switched it back to 2 to throw it through with authority. We'll see how the judges come up with the scoring in this, and we'll watch the replay. Michael Jordan. Now watch the cup move right here, and the swing over, and then the 2-hand stuff as he passes by the basket.
Well, I think I'm going to throw my 2 bits in here. I give him a 10 on that one. I thought that was a beautiful dunk. When you look at it in super slow motion, you'll see I'm right, I think.
All right, let's watch.
Next competitor, the Brooklyn Clyde Drexler.
Trailblazers, Clyde the Glide. Well, he got it too hard off the glass. Remember, these competitors are able to replace a dunk, so he'll get a chance to do it again without losing any points here.
He threw it through with authority. Now, you see, that's a little bit more on the high level of creativity, because throwing the ball up like that off the glass requires a great deal more timing. And here Clyde with a good throw, chases it down. It goes past the basket. As he's going way past it, reaches back and is able to throw it through.
You know, he's generally known for power dunks, not so much fancy dunks, but the old Phi Slamma Jamma really does a nice job here.
And there you see it again in the super slow-mo. 45 Clyde got on that one.
And Jordan got only a 41. We now have the scores up for you. Drexler with a 45.
Well, Johnny Dawkins missed his first attempt and just came back and threw one up without giving it a lot of thought, and I don't know if he'll score very high. I'm really surprised at only 41 on Michael's dunk.
Well, there went my dark horse pick here from the first round. Only 6'2", Johnny Dawkins, only weighs 165 pounds. That's one of the reasons he can soar so well. Here comes a local favorite now, Terrence Stansberry.
Now, Terrence has choreographed his stuff, and he's going to come up with, I'll tell you what, on the second one. I'll see, interesting to see what he comes up with on the first dunk, but he's thinking about doing the Statue of Liberty 360 on the first one. That's his patented move that he initiated 2 years ago in Indianapolis. This is the Statue of Liberty 360, I think. Oh, my! And the partisan crowd holding up 10s. Well, we see a couple of 9s snuck in there, and 1 8.
Dawkins only had a 37. Leader right now is Drexler with 45.
There you see the 360. Beautiful control for Stansberry, 49.
So Stansberry is our leader in the first round.
One of the NBA executives, Rick Welts, said that he was his dark horse pick. He thought Stansberry could win it. Well, he got off to a great start.
And here is the leading scorer of all rookies in the NBA this year, Ron Harper, great player for Cleveland. Oops, nice idea.
Now, he doesn't have his game choreographed, so I don't know what he's going to come up with. He says, well, I just kind of go, I get up in the air, and then I figure out what to do. It looked like it the first time.
He changed his mind on that one. You know, Dominique Wilkins said it. He said in competition particularly, he says the dunk is not he says it is literally creative because you get airborne and then decide the kind of moves you make.
And there's Harper again on the move, throws it up on the Razan. Goes up for the catch while he's in the air, and the 2 hands over the head as he passes by the basket. A nice-looking move, 45 points.
So, Stansberry still leads with a 49. Drexler and Harper with 45. Jordan with a 41. Dawkins with only 37. Here's Tom Chambers. Oh, he missed it. Nice move otherwise.
A little whirling dervish there, and tried to snuff it in with the left hand, and came up a little bit too long on that one. Hit the back right part of the rim.
Tom is the tallest dunker here. He's 6'10". You notice, so there's Maurice Lucas in the stands. Got his card. A pretty good-looking dunk, particularly when we see it in slow motion. Tom Chambers He's on the All-Star team, too, by the way, a late addition to the All-Star team.
Now watch him again. He's going to do a little windmill action. Takes it to the right hand. He's got both hands on it. Now he goes, there's a little windmill back over to the left side. Throws it through with the left hand as he is underneath the basket and reached back. Comes up with 41.
Wednesday,
His brother in the summertime giving him some ideas for the dunks. He also worked with Ron Harper. Wilkins trying the Spud Webb move.
First of all, he attempted from the outside the three-point line a long, lofty toss, and Dominique is right criticizing him right on the sideline.
Big brothers have a tendency to do that.
Dominique Wilkins sitting right in front of our bench here. Sore back, couldn't compete today. Pretty good dunk by Gerald Wilkins. I don't know how high that will score. Judges have been pretty tough today. No 50 so far. Highest of 49 for Stansberry.
And we'll see Wilkins now on his second attempt. And he was a little conservative after that first miss. Comes with a little 360 move, and it looked a little better on the replay than it did initially. He comes up with a 41 as well as one of my fellow Hall of Fame electees, Walt Frazier, looking on. Always dapper.
Wilkins with 41. This is Jerome Kersey, a late entry.
My dark horse. The fans liked it. Of
Yes,
course,
they
I think
did.
the judges may have been influenced on Stansbury's part because it's a partisan crowd here with Stansbury playing for the Sonics. But I like Kersey. He's strong. He's got great jumping ability. He has some good creativities. He comes in from the baseline, the good leap over, throws it through with authority, comes up with a 48. Now, I think that Michael Jordan's dunk was comparable to that. Michael getting 41. He really got the short end of it.
I agree with you. I disagree with the judges on that. Had a 41 in the first one. Jordan will get one more chance. He's the favorite coming in here, but he's got to beat a 49 by Stansberry and a 48 by Kersey and two 45s by Drexler and Harper.
Now, Michael, again, I don't think he's really put the choreography in that's necessary to get it. I don't think that's going to score high. He's not going to make it to the next round, Bob. Dominique's in front of us shaking his head saying, no good, no good. He didn't like it. And if Dominique didn't like it, it can't be all that good. 47 they give him on that one. That was nowhere near the first dunk that he had. I want an investigation on these judges, Bob.
And maybe it's Joe Piscopo who's causing the problem there. He's the we'll blame him because he's a non-former player. So Jordan gets a 47. That's on his second, and that's his best on this round.
Drexler, a little single reverse. Nothing really all that special about it.
Best scorer of the day
I
is
wish I could do it.
Stansberry.
I wish I could do it, but it's nothing special. As he comes in from the baseline, he's just going to jump underneath the basket, come back out, throw it through with the right hand. A little bit of a hitch move, but really nothing spectacular on that dunk. 47.
And that got the same as Michael Jordan. And here's Johnny Dawkins, who had only a 37 first time out.
Well, pretty nice to be 6'2" and get up and dunk it like that. But again, well, this is a little creative. He goes up, makes the move. A 180, two hands over the head on the front of the basket. We'll see what he comes up with.
And not unimpressive. He took the ball all the way down to his knees.
Got Terrence Stansbury's number on that one, 44 points for Johnny Dawkins.
All right, and here's Stansberry. He had the best dunk in the first attempt in round one. It's going to be hard to beat Terrence Stansberry.
Well, you see, the thing about Terrence is Terrence is being creative. Okay, he's got the athletic abilities, no doubt about that. 44-inch vertical leap, but he's creative. He does some unusual things. Here he goes, flips it up in the air, comes up, takes it down on the double clutch, and throws it back up. Didn't have a very strong dunk on that and got a 50. I don't think he deserved a 50, Bob. As you watch it in super slow-mo, he barely got the ball over the rim, caught the front of the rim with the ball. That did not deserve a 50.
Well, there you go. Whenever you're having judging, that's why they count points for baskets in the games. When you start judging athletic ability with judges, you get that kind of disagreement. I thought Michael Jordan's first dunk of the entire afternoon was superior to that one, and Jordan only got a 41. But Stansberry now has a 49 and 50 and is sure to advance into the round of four. Remember, 8 competitors here in the second round will get 4 advancing. That's Ron Harper's second dunk.
Well, grabbed onto the rim, threw it through. He didn't really know what he was going to do. He said that before the contest, and obviously that was the case when he went up there. I really think that the crowd is having a big influence on these judges because Stansberry's dunk, as creative as it was, it didn't have the authority going through the basket on the end to warrant a 50.
All right, and here comes Tom Chambers. That was a 38, by the way, for Ron Harper, and probably deserved there. One of the weaker dunks along with Johnny Dawkins. The youngsters have a little bit of a problem sometimes. They may be in awe of some of these great players they're in competition with in terms of the head-to-head competition. Tom Chambers had a 41 first time.
Well, again, this another one of the local favorites of the Seattle Supersonics. Chambers needs a good dunk here to try and get into the next round.
I like the looks of it. He'll get an opportunity here as he missed to replace the dunk. Tom Chambers, a great, as they call him, a great traffic jammer. He is really terrific jamming that ball in the hole when he drives down the lane. But of course, no defensive players out here today. Takes away any advantage that might be.
Well, you know, one thing, Bob,
He is not. Excuse me, Rick. He is not going to get another opportunity. I thought he was going to get an opportunity to replace that, but the ruling was no. See, it's per round. In other words, they get two. It looks like there's 2 rounds in the first round. If that makes any sense.
Well, they get a chance to repeat 2 dunks, but only one in the particular round. And so he had to miss the first time, and that caused him a problem. Wilkins trying that again. Not throwing the ball high enough. Now, this is a good example because what this is showing you is how incredible that dunk of Spud Webb's last year really was. And he did it from way out at half court, and he's half the size his brother Dominique looks on. Not real happy with the performance of his younger brother right now. That's his second miss as well. He will not get another opportunity. Come up with only a 25, I would imagine, the lowest score that you would get. No, 21 only.
21, and that's the lowest score of the day.
Let me go back to talking about dunking in traffic. You talked about Chambers. When you dunk in traffic, a lot of times it looks a lot more fantastic, awesome, whatever, because there's people around. When you come out here and you do it in front of people, you're not doing anything extra special with the ball. That's why you must come up with the creativity in this contest to try and get the appeal of the judges. Like that.
Jerome Kersey looks strong. Your dark horse pick, Rick Barry, is strong. He had a 48 first one. Let's see what he gets here. It could be right up there. He's competing with Stansberry for the leading score, but almost certainly is going to advance into the round of 4.
Now watch him on the super slow-mo. Now look at the creativity of Kersey. He gets it up, little windmill action over to the left side. Left hand, look how high his head right up near the rim, throws it through. A 44. Now I want to tell you something. These judges are not being very fair to a lot of these guys, in my opinion. I really think that deserved a 48 or a 49 at least. That was better than Stansberry's dunk.
Well, let's call it a beauty contest. You know, the beauty of the dunk is in the eye of the beholders, I suppose. Now, what we've got here is some discussion among the judges about the 4 who will advance. We'll come back and tell you who the 4 for the semifinal round will be right after this. But now, after 2 dunks in round 1, the 8 competitors are reduced to 4. Terrence Stansberry way out in front with 99 out of a possible 100. Drexler is second with 92, tied with Jerome Kersey, the late entry, in place of the injured Dominique Wilkins with 92. And Michael Jordan, the crowd favorite probably around the country watching on television, but not here in Seattle, as Stansberry is in 4th place and made it to the round of 4 in the semifinals. And
well, I'll tell you, Bob, I still think there was some very questionable scoring by the judges in there. And I'm going to, you gave me a real great one with that bird and the fish thing. I'm going to give you one here. The voting is because maybe it's because Marv is there, because it's been very harsh judging. Maybe because it's a harsh man out there, you know.
Marv Harshman, who coached 40 years in the collegiate ranks, you know, a lot of the old timers aren't real crazy about dunks anyway. And so he may be very tough on them as he looks at
Well, it's not so much that. It's just the way, like Michael Jordan's first dunk was much better than the second dunk, yet it scored much lower. We'll take a look at Stansberry, one of the more creative guys. He and Kersey, I think, have been the 2 most creative so far in the competition. I would think that these 2 should make it into the finals, but you never know.
Stansberry going to be tough to beat that one. This is the man that has finished 3rd the last 2 years in a row. Oh, he's hand-slapping the fans and going back over to the bench. He put on a show after the dunk.
Again, Stansberry likes to toss the ball in the air, catch it again. Here he goes. The little flip up, the catch, the little pump down, and the 2 hands over the head with authority. That dunk got a 49. Now, that was better than his 50 dunk, Bob.
So,
Dominique yells back and says, that's a 50.
All right, here is Jerome Kersey. This is the Trailblazers forward who has replaced Dominique Wilkins with a sore back. As you said, Dominique got all excited here, wanted to be in, but I'm sure his team's happy he's not in. Not bad from Jerome Kersey. That should score high. Kersey scored in the first round with his 2 dunks, a 48 and a 44 for a 92.
This may be his best one. Look at the slam cam. It's mounted above the basket. Keep an eye. Kersey comes in. It comes off the glass. The big catch and reaches through with authority from behind. A 50 for Kersey.
So that's the second 50 of the day. 50. There was a 50 earlier in the second dunk in the first round of Stansberry.
Now, Michael Jordan told me he had something special. He may be trying to take off from the free throw line a la Julius Erving. Let's see what happens. He kind of measured it from there. He's going back. That very may well be it. The people are excited. They like this.
I can hear his engines revving now.
Here's
from
Jordan ready to
O'Hare
take off.
Field in Chicago.
That's got to be a 50 ball. He took off just a little inside that free throw line, one-handed and double clutch it. Magic Johnson gives him a nice 5 underneath the basket as he got out of the way. Let's watch this one again. This deserves a second look. Michael taking off. The patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this. The double clutch, the reach out, and the stuff. He got 49. I don't believe it.
Unbelievable.
Here we go. There's the slam camera, the slam jam camera, I like to call it. As you see that little double reach out, if that's not a 50, I don't know who didn't give him 10, but I want to see that, Judge.
I'll tell you something. The judges don't have the replay monitors that you and I have. It might be a recommendation for the judges for next year to be able to see this in slow motion. I don't care how much experience you have. It's impossible to tell how great some of these moves are until you see the slow motion replay. We need to get them a monitor. Drexler. He jumped in front of the free throw line and missed. He hit the back of the rim. I think he would have easily made it. He just left a little bit too far forward of the free throw line. He'll get a replacement dunk. Now remember, this is the semifinals, and there are 3 dunks in the semifinals.
That was Harper, Dawkins, and Jordan looking on. The judges, Piscopo, Harshman, Sam Jones, all looking on. Second try for Drexler.
And that was a pretty good one, too. But he was a good foot in front of the free throw line when Clyde Drexler jammed that one. So let's see what the judges think of that in terms of points.
Clyde on the run, getting his momentum up. Looks like he had his steps a little messed up. Then he lengthens them out, gets a little bit too far out, glides through. Clyde the glide, that's why they call him that. But, of course, Jordan's had so much more flair, much more creativity as he double pumped with the ball and stretched out to put it in. So 46 there for Drexler. And Jordan, of course, coming up with 49 and deserving the 50. Well, it's coming down to the most important dunk of the competition for Stansbury. He's got to come up with something very good here because the other players have scored very high, and if he doesn't come up with a good score here, he could not make it to the finals, and he has been one of the more consistent and exciting players thus far.
Jordan and Kersey have a 50, a 49 for Stansbury first time.
That's nothing all that creative. He had to be a little bit cautious, and it may have cost him, Bob. It'll be interesting to see what Kersey comes up with. Of course, he has one more dunk after this.
There are 3 dunks in this one. This is Stansbury's second dunk in the semifinal round of 3.
Just goes up and takes it back up over his head. Now, that's something that a lot of players can do as you look at from the slam camera. The slam cam showing you what he did to finish it off, and he gets a 45, and I think he was very fortunate to get a 45.
But in trouble, Terrence Stansbury off to a great start, but now weakening a bit as we look at Jerome Kersey. Had a 50 on his first one. That was very good also.
Larry Weinberg, one of the owners of the Portland Trailblazers, is very happy about that move by one of his players. We'll watch the replay again. He'll come up. Now look at the strength and the height that he gets. Comes up with a little spin move, brings it back over. You can't quite see it from that low angle, but his head was up very close to the rim. He does it with a lot of power and authority. 48. He's about as strong a dunker as you hope to see, and he rates right up there with Dominique in his ability to throw those kind of things through, and he does that type of stuff in competition.
Second dunk in the semifinal. Michael Jordan.
Now, Michael got some elevation that time. He had his head up there, and he did some creativity on that one, so Michael seems to be warming up.
Let's look at it in super slow motion. Michael Jordan had a 50 on his first dunk. This is his second.
The great elevation with the good, strong one hand. Again, the double clutch move. He ducks his head to get by the rim, and the net throws it back through as he did a little bit of a 180 spin on it as well, and he gets a 49 again. So 249 for Michael Jordan, and he's starting to come alive here in the second round. He had a 50 in the first one and a 49 in the second one.
And is leading right now. Kersey has a 50 and a 48.
They changed it to a 50 to 1? I thought he had 49.
It is 49. Check this. It is 49. He has 2 49s.
Drexler now comes through and doesn't do anything all that creative on that particular move, although a lot of people would like to be able to throw it through like that. That was not anything special. As Spud Webb pointed out, you have to do something out of the ordinary. Well, watch Drexler again. Just comes in from the left side, goes up in the air, just takes a little roll move and throws it through over the right side. Nothing special.
45.
And the slam cam shows you exactly how he finished it off.
So Drexler in danger of being eliminated. He has a 46, and that one was a 45.
Looks
here
like
comes Stansbury.
Looks like Jordan right now and Kersey have the advantage.
Stansbury. Pretty strong.
Now you see he has a flair about him, Bob. That's just that little toss in the air to take your hand off the ball to re-catch it again. Catches the eye of the judges. It makes you think about what he's doing. He does a nice move on this dunk as he comes up. We'll see it finish off. The ball up in the air. He catches it. Does a little clutch move. Throws it through with 2 and comes up with a big 50. And he needed that one. And that puts the heat now on Kersey and Jordan to come up with some big dunks to move by Stansbury, who had that 45 on the second one.
All right, this is Bob Neal, Rick Barry with you. We're in the semifinals. We're in the third dunk.
Looks like Kersey might be going for the long-range jump.
Jerome Kersey, the late replacement for Dominique Wilkins, the winner 2 years ago. Kersey from Portland.
Kersey looked back in amazement, couldn't believe that he didn't dunk that one through, but he did indeed step inside of the line. Now, I don't think this is his specialty, trying to do something here that shows the versatility that a Michael Jordan has and the ability to hang in the air and to glide to the basket. Kersey's more of a power man. I think he should do more power moves inside with a lot of spins, throwing the ball up like Stansbury does. This would get more attention from the judges because of the authority he throws it through. When you go from this far out, Bob, you can't throw it through with a lot of authority. Well, I tell you, he took a chance there, Bob. After the miss, he needed a good one, and to throw it off the glass, the timing had to be perfect, and he came through with a very strong, powerful dunk. As you can see, when he gets in close, he can throw it through very, very strongly. There's the toss, the catch, brings it over as he passes the basket to throw it through. Comes up with a 49. That's going to make it tough for Stansbury. Michael Jordan needs a good dunk here, and it'll be he and Stansbury in the finals.
Or it could be
he and Kersey. I'm sorry,
exactly.
he and Kersey.
Kersey, in the 3 dunks here in the semis, has a 50, a 48, and a 49, just to update you on where it is. Jordan has a 49 and a 49. Terrence Stansbury, a 49, 45, and a 50. And Drexler probably in danger of being eliminated, 46 and 50.
Oh, I love it. He went straight to the basket just like he was floating on air, turned sideways, gave a little move to the side, and floated sideways to throw it in.
Will they give Michael Jordan a 50? He hasn't got one yet today. There it is.
There he goes. He goes in straight, goes up in the air. Now he's sideways. Look at the air. Look at the hang time. Look at the flying motion.
Look at his head above the rim.
They show, here he is again. The fans reacted to the replay on the screen here. Look at him hang and fly. Look at his head. That is Air Jordan at his best.
It looked like he was in an F-16 that time.
Dominique holding up his hands. The fingers won for Michael Jordan after that one.
All right, now the fourth competitor here in danger of being eliminated, probably already is, unless he is really. Clyde Drexler, even with a 50, couldn't get it here, but Drexler would certainly like to, as he walks back here, he goes down to talk right in front of our booth to Dominique Wilkins on the left and Spud Webb on the left side of your screen. See if we can pick up the sound here. I don't know if we can get it or not.
Well, we had a good shot there, except for Tim Rockwood, one of our workers, had his big curly head in the way.
So Dominique with some instructions.
He may be saying it's too late, Clyde.
Charlie Neal's there with a microphone. Maybe we can go to Charlie real quickly here. Charlie, see if you can ask Dominique what he told him before we look at this.
Dominique, what did he say to you? What did he ask
What can he do? He asked me what can he do next. I told him to jump straight in there off of 2 legs and do a windmill. Guaranteed 50. Guaranteed 50. No question about
Yeah,
it.
that's if you've got a 48-inch vertical jump. Unfortunately, Clyde isn't quite that good.
All right, yeah, no problem for Dominique or Jordan. Let's see here. Clyde Drexler.
See, it's a nice move, Bob, but nothing extraordinary. Now, if he had thrown the ball in the air like Stansbury did and then caught the ball, it would have had a lot more flair to it. It would have caught the eye of the judges. Here we watch him again coming from the right side. Drexler will do a little spin move with it, takes it up, rolls it to the right, back to the left, up and through with 2. You know, a very nice dunk, but 45 points he comes away with.
Okay, here's what we have now. The semifinalists are going to be Michael Jordan with 148 points in the semifinal round, and Jerome Kersey with 147 will dunk it off with 3 dunks in the final round for $12,500 when we return to the Coliseum in Seattle, Washington. And Rick Barry with you at the Coliseum in Seattle, ready for the championship round of the 1987 Slam Dunk Competition. And while we look at the coin, let's stay with the coin toss just for a second here. We have the coin toss in the middle. That'll see who will win and then have the choice of dunking first or second. So the coin toss has happened, I guess. We'll check on it in a moment and find out who won that. It'll give me a moment to remind you that this program is authorized under rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited. Now, we're still not sure who won the toss, but we do know that Kersey is first.
Very good, Bob. We're not going to fall into that trap again, are we?
Yeah, fool me once. Jerome Kersey.
A little pump and a little windmill action on this. We'll watch it in the super slow-mo. Kersey straight at the basket, using that great jumping ability and strength that he has. Goes up in the air, little windmill, takes it around and throws it through. Nothing extraordinary, I don't think, Bob. He comes up with only 46, so a great chance for Michael Jordan to really put the heat on Jerome Kersey if he can come through with another one of those airborne specials.
Well, Air Jordan, who used every bit of the O'Hare Field runway for his leaving from the free throw line 49 dunk, is going to start this time over on the right side. So Kersey with a 46 out of 50.
Hello.
How you going to keep him down on the ground after he scored a 50? I don't know. Michael Jordan should get a 49 or a 50 on that one, I would guess.
Well, he's going to go and make a little 180 move as he heads towards the basket. He'll turn and get his back to the basket. There's the spin move. Now he floats, he glides, and he throws it through with power as he passes by. 48 for Michael Jordan. And once again, the judges being very tough on the competitors.
I think maybe the judges expect too much of Michael Jordan. Now, Clyde Drexler about to go here. We're going to stand by with Charlie Neal. Jerome Kersey. And he misses. Remember, they can replace a dunk here.
Trying to copy Jordan on that one.
There's Dominique Wilkins and Magic Johnson. They're right at the post underneath the hoop, but it's still shaking from that last miss by Kersey. Let's pick up now. Here's his replacement dunk.
A little bit more with the power. Now what Jerome Kersey needs to get a little more creativity in his dunks to really try and help himself. But I'm nice to see my dark horse candidate here in the finals, though. We'll watch the super slow-mo replay as he comes up. Again, the little pump move and then the spin. But you can see how high he gets and the power that he throws the ball through with.
45. So Kersey, he got 3 dunks here, 46 and a 45. And Jordan on his first one had a 48. Real quickly before Jordan goes, Charlie Neal's with Spud Webb. Spud, what do you think about Jordan so far?
What do you think of what's happening so far, Spud, with Michael?
Well, he's took his dunk into another notch, and he's taking a more difficult dunks.
You like that one?
Oh, that was great. I wish I had the hands to do that.
All right, Bob.
So that was Michael Jordan's second one, and Rick Barry, let's take a look at it now at super slow-mo.
Well, here we go again. Michael Jordan going down the runway, getting ready for takeoff. Takes off right, you see, at the bottom of the circle. Up in the air now. Let's see the little move, the double clutch. Back up as he floats by. There he is from the slant jam camera and throwing it through. But look at the skill, the style that he has. 48 he gets. Again, the judges, real tough here in this final round.
Well, Kersey needs a 50. And even with a 50, it would put him in trouble. He has 91 points so far to 96 for Jordan.
Not going to do it, I'm afraid, Bob. And we'll see if Michael Jordan tries to come up with something special here, knowing full well that he doesn't need anything extraordinary. I don't know if he'll take a chance on this one as we watch this final dunk on the part of Jerome Kersey, who with late notice coming into the competition, replacing Dominique Wilkins, has done a nice job. And they give him a 49 on that one.
So he has 140 total after getting that. 140. Now, Dominique has 96. Michael Jordan has 96. Michael Jordan with 96. I said Dominique standing down there, he probably would have higher than that, or at least if he performed like he did a couple of years ago. Here comes Michael Jordan for his third and final dunk. He gets a replacement.
And what he does that's so neat and it really catches the excitement of the crowd is when he jumps up, he does that lean in. He gets his body almost sometimes perpendicular to the floor as you watch the replay on this miss. You see him jump. Now, look at that lean in. You see how he just leans forward. It's like Superman flying through the air. Well, that's almost a repeat of the one that he came in from the side, turning sideways on it, but he needed to make sure he made it. And Hakeem Olajuwon coming up with the score there for Michael Jordan.
All right, let's look at it in super slow-mo. It's almost impossible for Michael Jordan to lose. He gets a 50 on his third dunk.
There he goes on the takeoff. He goes sideways. Now the lean-in move. You see how he looks like Superman flying sideways through the air as he hooks it in from another angle. Watch the lean-in. Now he'll be almost parallel. We'll see the completion of it on the Slam Jam camera as you see how high he got up over the rim.
So Michael Jordan is our winner with 146 points. In the final round, he had a dunk of 48, 48, and 50. Jerome Kersey, the late entry, the dark horse candidate of Rick Barry, got all the way to the finals, but he had a 46, a 45, and a 49 to finish with a total of 140 in the championship round. And surprising almost nobody, Michael Jordan. We might say, though, that Michael started very slowly. His first dunk of the day, only a 41. But after that, he had two 50s on the way with a couple of 49s and 48s. And Michael Jordan now at center court, ready to receive his trophy and a check for $12,500. So Michael Jordan will, by the way, will get that trophy and the check here. The second place gets $7,500. So Jerome Kersey's trip just a few miles north from Portland to enter the competition today won't hurt his pocket change. Third place gets $5,500. Fourth place $2,500, and all the competitors from 5th through 8th will receive $1,000. But Michael Jordan is a deserving champion today, Rick Barry.
Well, indeed he is. He said that he had the $12,500 dunks ready, and that's exactly what he came through with. Take another look at one of the dunks that led to his championship here in Seattle. As he comes through, just goes over the free throw area, and there's that stretch out, the double clutch with the one-hand palm, and he throws it through. And that did not, believe it or not, get a 50 as the victorious Michael Jordan holds up the victor's trophy.
That is $12,500 richer. That's Bill Schmidt on the left, by the way, the director of sports marketing for Quaker Oats Company, makers of Gatorade. And Adrian DeGroot was on the right there, the NBA properties manager. And the final standings of the Gatorade Slam Dunk Championship. Michael Jordan with 146 points out of a possible 150 in the championship round. Defeats Jerome Kersey. It was Terrence Stansberry and Clyde Drexler finishing in 3rd and 4th place. And one more time, let's look at Air Jordan. Unbelievable.
And this an all-star.